Brad Asher.
Of my wife Robin for being through all of this with me over the years. You can't do the job in Congress, be away from your family, and have all the stress and responsibilities without a partner that's willing to share those with you. And Robin has always been there and been steadfast and a rock for me. And of course, I could either thank my father for putting in the public servant values in me, or I can blame him at this point in time. I don't know which would be the more appropriate for this. Our three boys would be here, but they're all in school, and that's where they should be. I want to make sure that in this transition that we don't make it a big deal for them, even though there's a lot of cameras here that would say something different. But we've always tried to instill in our boys that the job I do is just like any other father's job. We all have a job to do. And first I want to congratulate Brad Ashford on winning this election. And I wish him well. I've already talked to him and told him that in the transition we'll be as helpful as we're legally allowed to be. And congratulate him and wish him well in representing the 2nd Congressional District. And representing the 2nd Congressional District for 16 years has been a blessing, and I'm truly honored to have been picked 8 times by the people of the 2nd District to represent them. It's an honor that I take to heart and will stay with me for the rest of my life, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity. Being a member of Congress, frankly, is a large responsibility. You have the weight of the nation on your shoulders. And I've always tried to do what was right for this country. Putting people first, our country first, was always my value and my goal. I remember 16 years ago, on a happier election night, talking about the Nolan Ryan education plan. We didn't even have a Jack then. And that was making sure that education was local and empowering teachers and parents and not Washington bureaucrats. I still hold that same value, and many of my votes on education was to stop the federalization of education that really limited people's and parents' powers. Then energy independence. That was a goal of mine to free ourselves from OPEC. And certainly energy independence is one of those areas that my record will stand for itself over the years, and the number of bills that I've passed and gotten into law that's going to help us on that road to energy independence. It's a cornerstone of our economy, and I'm proud of my legislative history in that area. And in fact, that's one of those areas where you can say it's the 16 years from the first election to this last election, we've made a great deal of progress, and I'm proud of that progress in becoming energy independent. And of course, I talked a lot then about our national debt, and I'm very frustrated that we've doubled, the debt has been doubled in just the last 6 years. I talked about a balanced budget amendment, and I'm proud that I was able to, with a small group of rogue balanced budget amendment folks, to actually force a vote on the balanced budget. I was saddened that Nancy Pelosi lobbied against that and had most of the Democrats vote against that. So we weren't able to get a balanced budget amendment into the United States Constitution. But I'm proud that we at least forced it and got a vote on it. Now, when I was first elected too, I made a promise to myself. And that was, well, several promises on how I would conduct myself as the people's representative of the 2nd District of Nebraska. And one is that I would put out an all-out effort, work as hard as I can, and I think I achieved that. I wish many of you could have been there with me out in D.C. during those work days that started at 7:30 and ended somewhere around 9:30, 10:30, 11:30 at night, sometimes even 24 hours. So check that box. And then we would make constituent services the foundation of our office, because it is about helping people. And over the 16 years, we've had a lot of really great people in our office whose sole job was to help people. So we've helped raise a few people from the dead, not in a Lazarus Jesus way, but in a Social Security way. When Social Security declared a few of our constituents dead, and they came into our office very much alive, and it's surprising how much work it is to convince Social Security that somebody's alive. One of the cases that I most remember, though, is when someone called and said, my insurance company turned me down for my cancer surgery, and I will die without that. And we were able to get them their surgery. And he's alive today, almost getting to his 5-year cancer-free. So that's the type of work we did in our office, the foundational element of our office. But there were other things that I said I'd do, and that was to respect all of the people, no matter what their views were or how we disagreed. And that I would always be open and honest about where I was on a particular issue, where I stood on issues, because I really feel as a core value that my father and mother taught me is being honest is also being respectful. So even though people and I would disagree on issues, I'd always give them the respect of letting them know why I was different than their opinion. Some thought that may have been arrogance. I thought it was respect. Now, I'm going to end my comments, and I don't know if my folks told, or if Kent mentioned, I'm not going to take questions. There's just no reason. The one question that you're probably asking is, geez, why did this campaign lose? And after deep, intensive analysis, we've come to this conclusion. Brad Ashford got more votes than I did. Absent that, we're not going to do any more analysis. That's what it comes down to. Democracy wins, and I respect our democracy, and I congratulate Brad on winning this race. So thank you all. Appreciate your time. And again, I want to thank the people of the 2nd District for allowing me the honor of representing them for 16 years. Thank you.